Hey, I'm Keith with ShipwrightSkills.com and ShipwrightSkills on Instagram and YouTube, and I want to talk about this 2x72 grinder. It's a Broadbeck Ironworks. I love it. It's changed everything about the way I shape small parts and sculpt things, and it's just like indispensable in the shop. I love it. But it is a dusty mess. It throws dust everywhere because it's a metalworker's tool primarily. So dust collection is not thought about at all. But I can't handle that. So I'm trying to suck it through this pipe on the bottom here. It's not really working out that well. Who's at the door? Look at that. A whole shipment of cool stuff from Rockler. So the generous folks at Rockler offered to let me figure out a dust collection system for a 2x72 grinder. And I went and picked out the stuff myself. So thank you, Rockler. So the system starts with a 750 CFM mobile dust collector. They're a Dust Right series. It's well packed. The box was, feeling pretty heavy to me when I pulled it in there. Everything's steel and all that good stuff. So the first thing I noticed, was that it was well packed. Things are wrapped in plastic. Things are really well padded. Nothing was dented. Nothing was scratched. All the pieces were there. The directions were really clear. And it's like really simple to put together. Maybe 15 minutes to assemble the whole thing. If you're slow, maybe 20. I don't know. It didn't take very long. You need a couple of wrenches and a screwdriver, and away you go. So the first thing you do is you put the casters on the base, and then you put these uprights on. And the uprights have little slots. They look like they could put hooks on, things like that, which I'll find out about later, I'm sure. Also, it has a basket for putting accessories and hoses and stuff on there. You can just kind of tuck things into that basket, I guess. You have to put the agitator onto the filter, which I'm doing right there. That's just a handle that attaches. I opted to do this part on the floor because that motor assembly is fairly heavy. I could have done it up on the bench and then pulled it down, but I just thought, who cares? It's just 4 bolts. Just kneel on the floor for 2 minutes. The next part was putting this seal on, so that way the 1 micron filter would have a good airtight seal, because it basically blows air out that filter, which should be fresh air. You wouldn't want it to blow out the seam or anything like that. Simple hose clamp holds it on there. And then this cool collapsing plastic hoop thing that goes in there. It's awesome. No more hose clamps on the dust bag. Seems to suck really, really hard, just right off the bat, so that was cool. The next part of the kit that I came up with is a dust bucket, which is primarily, I think, designed for router tables. It has a door on the front, it has a dust collection port on the side and the back that you can kind of switch around. I'm sort of doing different things differently than maybe they were intended, but all the parts are there to do it. So it has that fitting for your 4-inch hose. It has another fitting for the 2-inch hose that's supplied, and then it has a like a damper kind of thing that goes on it. I'm going to keep that closed completely because I'm just going to use this thing as a big giant orifice to suck air through. And I'm going to put that down below the sander, so anything that shoots straight down will go into the dust bucket. This is the hose that came with the dust bucket that's for like a router table fence. I'll use it for something else. The next part is this Overarm Dust Hood, designed primarily for like a lathe, I guess. Could screw to the floor or to a bench, and it can be put together in a lot of different ways. I think I'm going to get a second one because I like it so much. I want to use it for hand sanding and power carving, stuff like that. It's pretty well designed. It's like very simple and light. Has a ton of adjustable handles and stuff like that, and you can kind of aim it however you want it. So if you're power carving at the bench or using a power plane, something that's like really messy, you could kind of put this thing on a base of some kind, I think is what I'm going to do, and kind of bring it around your shop anywhere. But this one is going to be dedicated to the 2x72, so I'm just going to screw it to my bench over there. It's got a lot of pieces, and you want to make sure you put them together correctly, but it can be put together a couple different ways depending on what you want to do with it. I'm going to have it coming as an overarm, but If you wanted to, you could screw it to the floor and actually have it angle up into a lathe or a power carving station, something like that. Tons of adjustment. Looks awesome. The last piece is this 4-inch anti-static dust hose. Stretches out to 10 feet, I guess, and supposed to not give you the static cling, static shocks, and things like that. So should be a good hose to use. So you can see the belt grinder adjusts all over the place, and this thing will be able to adjust all over the place with it. So that's the Overarm Dust Hood. And holy cow, does this system work really, really well. So it's right there, it's sucking into the dust bucket with one 4-inch hose, and then another 4-inch hose is sucking through the Overarm Dust Hood. I put a Y onto the dust collector, and I mean it's sucking every bit of dust up. Like there's none in the air. Like, I wouldn't even need to wear a respirator anymore if I don't want to. This is the unit. So it's this 750 CFM, 1 micron filter. It's short enough that you can see right over it. You could actually, put things on the top of it if you wanted to. It doesn't really vibrate enough to, like I put a square on there. It stayed on there for like an hour the other day. It didn't vibrate off. That's the agitator that I just moved that handle. And if you just do that when it's off, it'll dump the fine dust that gets caught in the filter down into the bag. It's got this Burley 110 motor on it, which looks good. Feels heavy. Has the quick stop switch on it and everything, and a nice handle to pull it around the shop with. Yeah, I'm blown away by how well this thing works. I didn't try to capture the tool itself, so it doesn't have a shroud around it. It's still just a naked belt grinder, but just having this amount of suction right next to it pretty much diverts every bit of dust into the dust collector. So I'm pretty excited. If you think I should do more of this kind of stuff, please like and subscribe. It actually helps. And if you have ideas for videos or things that you'd like to see, let me know. I just want to say thank you to Rockler for all your help setting up this awesome dust collection system.